Dear YouTubers, this is a prophetic learning that the Lord wants me to share with all you folks. Where are we at in prophecy? In terms of prophecy, I had a dream last night also about the rapture. I had a dream that I was raptured along with my family, except for some of my intermediate family and friends. A couple of them were raptured, but my close family, everybody was raptured pretty much. But where are we at? You know, it's just a dream, though. It might not all be true, but, you know, it is a dream nonetheless from the Lord. Where are we at in terms of Bible prophecy? We're at Revelations 1, 2, and 3. And 4, we're revealing the letter to the churches, and we're close to the Church of Philadelphia rapture, I believe, for those few Christians who are kind of worried to escape, who can see through all the deeds and the lies of men, and who can see the mistakes of what our parents and forefathers have led us to, pagan Christianity pretty much, because, you know, this place called Babylon has done some atrocities against God, and basically where everything now is okay, which it basically is not, because they have sinned against the Most High, and God had remembered her crimes and atrocities. But God has revealed to me also that the Kabbalah has pretty much been removed. The Kabbalah is very satanic and a very evil thing, and I don't follow it, but the sorcerers to me have been revealed for who they are. Sorcerer can be, in my opinion, can be defined as anybody who practices magic or witchcraft, anyone you give money to pretty much, you know, who uses it towards their own lust and sinful natures, any kind of faith prosperity church, you know, who just uses the money for their own gain, you know, like travel for the worldly desires of this world, because the worldly desires of this world pass away, and who rape you basically, like, you know, even some of your slave owners too, you know, who have all the money in the world. And God has revealed this to me, and also anybody pretty much who's an entrepreneur who doesn't follow the teachings of God, who's all into like the Babylonian education system and stuff, who's who continues to sin. We all were a part of it at one time, and the same with the church too. But, you know, coming out of the church was big too for me also, and revealing what true Christianity is. But I mean, look at all the wicked traditions in the world. You know, you got Halloween, Thanksgiving, you know, celebration with slaughter people. Christmas is okay celebrating it as far as like Christ's birthday if you want, but, you know, technically it's Nimrod and Tammuz's birthday. You know, people have unlawfully sinned, you know, in the corporate aspect of having to buy this and that gift. But that's where we are right now, and God's about ready to release the seals, just like it says too. You know, the peace shall come, which it has, and then sudden destruction shall come up on them, like a woman who's about ready to deliver a child, who's having birth pains pretty much, and then sudden destruction shall come up on them. I mean, now look with the gas prices going up, emergency being declared for swine flu, you know, Israel, Iran, you know, Russia, all this stuff is going on, and the stuff they put in the media to distract you. Also, what they're trying with universal health care, you know, food shortages, you know, the government basically running out of money. But where we're at in Revelation, we're getting ready for Revelation 5 and 6 when the scrolls and God's judgment is revealed in the final 7 years, because once the Mideast peace treaty is signed, that's pretty much it. But I believe also the destruction of Babylon is at hand too. The enemies are starting to rise up against the nation because it still owes its debtor and stuff. It just thinks it can keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing money, and, you know, continues to think, you know, it can live any way it wants, and, you know, and freedom is important, but, you know, also with freedom also comes persecution. But, you know, freedom in the word and the sword is what matters the most. What I must say is about the fall of Babylon here. After I saw another angel coming down from heaven, he had great authority, and the earth was illuminated by his splendor. With a mighty voice he shouted, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a home of demons and a haunt for every evil spirit, a haunt for every unclean and desolate bird, people who bitch and complain constantly. For all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries. The kings of the earth committed adultery with her, and the merchants of the earth grew rich from her excessive luxuries." Then I heard another voice from heaven say, "Come out of her, my people, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not receive any of her plagues. For her sins are piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes. Give back to her as she has given to you. Pay her back double for what she has done and for enslaving you. Mix her a double portion from her own cup, give her as much torture and grief and glory and luxury as she gave herself. In her heart she boasts, I sit as a queen, and I am not a widow, and I will never mourn. Therefore, in one day her plagues will overtake her, death, mourning, and famine. She will be consumed by fire, for mighty is the Lord who judges her. When the kings of the earth who committed adultery with her and shared her luxury see the smoke of her burning, they will weep and mourn over her, terrified and tormented. Was there ever such a great city as they stand far off? Woe, woe, great city of Babylon, city of power! In 1 hour your doom has come. Merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, because no one buys their cargoes anymore. Cargoes of gold, silver, precious stones, and pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, and scarlet cloth, every sort of citron wood, and articles of every kind made of ivory, costal wood, bronze, iron, and marble. Cargoes of cinnamon and spice, of incense, myrrh, and frankincense, of wine and olive oil, of fine flour and wheat, cattle, sheep, horses, and carriages, and bodies and souls of men. They will say, the fruit you longed for is gone from you. All your riches and splendors have vanished, never to be recovered. The merchants who sold these things and gained their wealth from her will stand far off, terrified at her torment. They will weep and mourn and cry out, Woe, woe, O great city, dressed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. In 1 hour such great wealth has been brought to ruin. Every sea captain and all who travel by sea, the sailors and all who earn their living from the sea, will stand far off when they see the smoke of her burning. They will exclaim, Was there ever a city like this great city? They will throw dust on their heads, and with weeping and mourning cry out, Woe, woe, O great city, where all who had ships on the sea became rich through her wealth. In 1 hour she has been brought to ruin. Rejoice over her, O heaven. Rejoice, saints and apostles and prophets. God has judged her for the way she treated you. Then a mighty angel picked up a boulder the size of a large millstone and threw it into the sea, and said, with such violence, the great city of Babylon will be thrown down, never to be found again. The music of harpists and musicians, flute players and trumpets will never be heard in you again. No workman of any trade will be found in you again. The sound of a millstone will never be heard in you again. The light of a lamp will never shine in you again. The voice of a bridegroom and bride will never be heard in you again. Your merchants were the world's great men. By your magic spell, all nations were led astray. In her was found the blood of prophets and of the saints and of all who've been killed on the earth. So see, basically, what it's saying in Revelation is the sorcerers have been revealed for who they are. The rich men got rich off her, and they're terrified now because, you know, like the Federal Reserve is starting to collapse. You know, the dollar is on its way out and stuff. And because of what they did, their magic spells leading the nations astray, you know, the pagan traditions and holidays that have enslaved us as people for years, you know. Basically, you know, God has revealed it, and because of this, he said, because of your magic, that nothing's going to be hurting you again. There will be no bridegroom found in you again. A lamp will never shine in you again, basically, you know. You merchants were the world's great men, you know, the people who have more money, the slave owners over you, you know. By your spells, nations were led astray, you know, promising you this and that, only to find out that it's false hope, you know. Basically, though, I also believe we're at this part in Revelation because, like last year, for example, gas prices were $4.50. $5. A lot of people were panicking. They didn't know, like, what was going on. What's the deal with this and that? Well, all of a sudden, the sorcerers in the earth, you know, like around Christmas time, were like, buy this, buy that, you know. They lowered the price down to $1.77, down to $2, this and that, you know. And, you know, basically saying, you know, the dream is back, the American dream. And then now what's happened? People started chasing after the dream again. They started chasing and hustling after the money, you know, hustling for things they really don't need, going above their head, taking out these big loans and stuff, getting into debt. The banks own their souls, you know, they owe their debtors. They're not forgiving their debtors. Debtors not forgiving them. You know, credit's now starting to be cut off. The markets are freezing again. Unemployment rates are at 11.2%. Basically, the slave owners, the big banks and everything are the ones who caused this. And I don't have much money. I'm a very poor person myself. I have about $4,200. But I think pretty soon it might be a good idea to get a plane ticket out of this place because of all the lies. You know, this is the last leg of Rome. And the sorcerers are going to continue doing what they've done for years. You know, capitalizing off the war on terror. You know, the great men, you know, in the earth, you know, God talked about there in Babylon, you know, people fighting wars, you know, useless wars, lying it, using it for their own gain to make money, you know, this and that. America is founded on blood itself, you know, everything it stands for, really, you know, ripping people off, you know, ripping the poor off while the rich continue to get rich, you know. I mean, just look at your cars that sit in the lots, 27, 30,000, promising you and that, saying to take a loan, get in debt, so then they own your soul, basically, so they don't want you free. And I'm just here to expose that we're at the time of the Church of Philadelphia rapture, right where it says the key to the Star of David. Because you have not denied my name and do what I said, I'll also keep you from the hour of testing that is to come. Even though I have suffered here tremendously over the last 2 years, but because of the magic spell of the great man, and I finally came to realize that. But we are at the time of the end. Pray. Protect your family, most importantly. There's really not much if you don't have a lot of money you can get prepared for other than putting your trust and faith into the Word. So may Jesus bless you all the time. Bye.